What's up everybody, RetroWolf88 here, and in case you couldn't tell by all the games surrounding me on the table as well as the games to the left and to the right of me, I'm a collector. I love collecting video games of all kinds, whether it be old or new. For most systems, I mainly collect Nintendo and Sega, but I do collect some PlayStation stuff as well. I'm very passionate about it. It is a whole lot of fun. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of my recent pickups within the last 2 weeks or so. So let's get started. Also, during this video, I'm going to give you some tips and some pointers, some things that I have learned over the years that have helped me build my collection to where it is today. So make sure you take notes. You might learn something new. Let's start with some Christmas Day pickups, because I got a couple of things on Christmas Day. Nothing major, but you know, some cool stuff, a couple of Christmas gifts, and then something that's going to lead me to my first tip for you all. Now, one of the Christmas gifts that I received is this amazing book, the Super Mario Bros. Encyclopedia. This is a hardcover, and it is just jam-packed full of just great information about the Mario Brothers series from the very first game to present day. Well, this book came out before Super Mario Odyssey, so it doesn't have any of that in it, but it is just full of information, tons of pictures, history, characters in each game, stages in each game, power-ups, enemies. It is just such a cool book, and I cannot recommend it enough. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's pretty cheap too. I think it's around 20 bucks, so be sure and check that out, especially if you're a Mario fan, a collector, or if you just like books. Next up, another Christmas gift was the plug and play Sega Genesis console from, I think, AT Games. You know, this is not the best plug and play console in the world, but it was a Christmas gift, and I probably won't play it, but it will at least look good in the game room on a shelf, on top of a bookshelf or whatever. So there's that. I'm looking forward to hearing more from Sega, hopefully this year, about their Sega Genesis Classic that they're coming out with. That should be a much better plug and play system than this, but we'll have to wait and find out more. Now, here's my first tip for you, for all you collectors out there. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this. Some of you may not. Some of you may not have even thought about it. I didn't think about it at first until I really started getting into collecting. When you first start collecting, it is absolutely crucial that you contact all of your friends, your family, people you work with, if you go to school, people you go to school with. Contact them and say, hey, I'm collecting video games. Do you happen to have any video games that you want to sell or get rid of? And what I found is a lot of times they do. Sometimes they'll just give them to you as a gift. You know, sometimes they'll want a little bit of money for the games, but not much. It just depends on the person. Sometimes you can get some really good deals and find some really good stuff by doing this. So it's very important to talk to people. Let them know you're a collector. Ask them if they have anything. Because me personally, I've built a pretty decent part of my collection by doing that, especially people at work. So make sure you connect with people, network, and it will really help you build your collection. So on Christmas Day, because my brother knows I'm a collector, he hooked me up with some stuff that he found. He hooked me up for this stuff for a great price, so I was very happy with it. We have Pokemon Diamond on the Nintendo DS. I don't think I have ever played this Pokemon game before, so may need to check that out. A loose copy of Wii Sports. These actually sell pretty easy. You know, Wii Sports is, don't quote me on it, but I think it might be one of the top selling games on the Wii naturally because it came with the Wii. And there's still people looking for this, so it's always good to pick this up if you see it, especially for a couple of bucks. We got a loose copy of Zelda and the Phantom Hourglass. That's a really cool game. And I think I might actually have an empty case for this somewhere, so that's good. We've got Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories for the Game Boy Color, and we have Conker's Pocket Tales for the Game Boy, which is actually a pretty cool game. And the best part, Mario Kart 64. It's a fantastic Mario Kart game. I love it a lot. It's not my favorite, but still really good game. And the price on this game, it fluctuates, but it seems to go up pretty often. So if you can get a copy of this for fairly cheap and you already have it, then you can flip it and make a little money to put back into your collection. Another source for finding games, and I don't like to resort to this, but you know, sometimes you have to, and that's eBay. Let's just be honest, when you start collecting, there's going to be stuff that you really want right then and there. You don't want to have to go hunting for it at flea markets and yard sales and game stores. So most of the time you can find just about anything you want on eBay. And I've bought quite a few things from my collection on eBay. By no means the majority of my collection I've actually found out in the wild and from other people. But as you're going to find out in a later video, I am a heavy collector for the Nintendo GameCube. I'm going for a complete GameCube collection, and I'm actually pretty close to that. When you start collecting for a system and you're trying to go for a complete collection, once you really get up there, the higher you get, the more games that you have in for that console, the harder it is to find games that you don't have. And that's the problem that I've been running into. I have so many games for the GameCube that I'll go in retail game stores and they won't have a single game that I need. So it's getting harder and harder for me to find games that I still need, and there's actually quite a few common games that I need, some uncommons and a couple of rares. These were a few games that I needed, so saw them on eBay for a good price and I snatched them up, and that's Mission Impossible Operation Surf's Up, Robots, Piglet's Big Movie Game, and SX Superstar. Now, these are probably games that I'll never play, but as a collector, you're going to collect games that you'll never play. They're just going to sit on the shelf and look nice, and you know, if you get a complete collection for a console, or if you're going for a complete collection for a console, you got to collect games like Piglet's Big Movie Game. Another game I picked up on eBay is for the Nintendo Switch. I collect very heavily for the Nintendo Switch as well, which I'll go over in a future video. I saw this game on eBay for, I think it was like 10 bucks. Party arcade, nothing exciting, but for 10 bucks brand new, you know, why not? Add it to the collection. Another way to really build your collection is to connect with other collectors. Connect with other people that are passionate about the same thing that you are. And one of the best ways to do that is through social media. I mean, I've done that through Instagram. I've connected with many game collectors. I've met a lot of really cool, really nice people. There's a lot of great people in the Instagram gaming community. When you meet these people, you know, you can trade with them. You can get really good deals on games that they're selling, excess games that they found, duplicates in their collection. You can also use Instagram to sell excess games in your collection, duplicates, games that you don't want, to other collectors, so that you find a good home for those games, because really these games are a piece of history. So, you know, those of us that are going to flea markets and yard sales and pawn shops and antique stores and finding these games, the games that you decide not to keep, you should really find a good home for them, because we need to preserve these games. They need to be taken care of because, like I said, they are part of gaming history. If I can find a good home for these games with other collectors, I will do so. And, you know, recoup a little bit of the money that I spent, put some money back into the collection. That's kind of how we all do it. All the games that you see here, I got from collectors on Instagram. And like I said, you know, a lot of the times you can get really good deals. So right here, you're seeing a Sega Master System game lot that I got from a user on Instagram. And all of the people that I bought these games from, I'm going to leave in the description down below their profile name on Instagram, so you can go follow them and maybe you can buy some games from them as well, because these are all people that sell on Instagram often. The Sega Master System is a really awesome game console that didn't really get a lot of love in the United States. It's a very underrated system, and I'm having a lot of fun collecting for this system. A lot of the games are actually really enjoyable, pretty high quality games. One thing I've noticed about Sega Master System is the games don't seem to be as glitchy and buggy and unpolished as a lot of NES games do, for example. I'm trying to go for a complete collection for the Sega Master System because in the US There were, I think, somewhere around 110 games. If you're going to collect for this console, now is the time because the prices are just going to keep going up. These are a lot of common games, but, you know, still pretty cool. We got parlor games, Great Baseball, Shanghai, Marksman Shooting and Trap Shooting, Shooting Gallery, Global Defense, Enduro Racer, Reggie Jackson Baseball, a game that you all are familiar with, Monopoly, and Great Golf. Love this console. If you've never played this system, I highly recommend you find a way to check out the games because there's a good chance you might fall in love with it like I did. I'm kind of a crazy GameCube collector because I'm also collecting the Player's Choice versions of all the games as well. And I already have the original Black Label Animal Crossing, and I got a really good deal from a friend on Instagram for the Player's Choice version of Animal Crossing. And the great thing about this is it has the memory card with it. For those of you that don't know, Animal Crossing originally came with its own memory card because of how much space the game took up. On the back of the box it says it uses 58 to 61 blocks, so you're really going to need your own dedicated memory card for this game. In addition to that, I believe the memory card had some extras on it that you could get within the game, so that's pretty cool. And this is in really good condition, so I'm really happy to have this in my collection. I also got some GameCube games from some collectors on Instagram. GameCube games that I needed for my collection, and that is F1 2002, Freaky Flyers, a game that was exclusive on the GameCube, and that's PN03. It's a really cool game. It's I almost consider it a hidden gem. It's not the best game in the world, but it had some unique ideas to it, so you should check that out. A boxing game, a cartoony boxing game called Black and Bruised. I used to have this back in the day, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. NBA Street 2. I loved the first NBA Street, put so many hours into that game, got really good at it. I never played the second one or the third one, so, you know, now's my opportunity. And last but not least, for Instagram, we have a complete in box Sega Genesis game called Earth Defense. I'm not familiar with this game, but I don't know if you can see that. It looks like a shoot 'em up, a vertical shoot 'em up, and I like shoot 'em up, so I'll probably check this out. It has a different box than what I'm used to seeing for other Sega Genesis games, so I don't know what's up with that. So those are my Instagram pickups. Now I'm going to show you a large game lot that I picked up, which is going to lead me to my next tip for all you collectors out there. One of the fastest ways that I have built my collection is by buying game lots. Now, I realize not everybody is able to do that. You have to have a little bit of money set aside for this to be able to buy game lots. And you know what I've done over the years is put money back. When I sell excess or duplicate games, I put a little bit of money back. Every paycheck I put a little bit of money back into savings. And this is a fund that I have available to buy game lots. So what I do is I'll search Craigslist, I'll search Facebook Marketplace, I'll search Let Go, the app Let Go, the app OfferUp. I'll search all these different places, and if I find a game lot that someone local is selling, and I usually try to stay within 6 hours driving distance, depending on how good the deal is and how good the game lot. I may drive 4, 5, 6 hours to pick it up. It really just depends. But when I find a game lot that has stuff that I need in it, and it looks like it's going to be a really good deal, I'll buy the game lot, I'll pick out what I'm going to keep out of the lot, and I'll sell the rest, with the hope that I can at least recoup my money that I spent for the game lot and put that money back into my account where I have my funds for buying this stuff. Essentially what happens, I'll get some games for free as long as I can sell the games I don't need to recoup that money. A lot of collectors do this. It's a really great way to build your collection and find new homes for some of these games. Let's go over what we've got here. So in this game lot, I met a guy on Craigslist, I believe. Here's another thing. You know, if you meet people that find this stuff, like this guy, for example, he goes to yard sales and he goes to flea markets, him and his wife do, and they're really on the lookout for CDs, music CDs, because they sell music CDs. They find rare music CDs and they turn around and sell them, but at the same time, he'll also buy games when he finds them at yard sales and flea markets. He doesn't want to deal with selling them off individually, so he posted a game lot several months ago on Craigslist, and I bought it from him. And because I bought that game lot from him, I became a trusted contact. And so now, anytime that he has enough games to put a lot together for me, he'll contact me, he'll send me pictures, he'll give me a price, and he gives me really, really good prices. And the guy knows what the game's worth, so it's not like, you know, I'm ripping him off or he's ripping me off or anything. He just doesn't want to deal with selling them individually. He would much rather just make a little bit of money off of them by selling them all at once to a collector like myself. So this is the second game lot I got from him. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because you can make contacts by doing this. You can meet people and you know, you two can kind of develop some trust to where you can become a repeat customer for them whenever they get game lots, if they're the type of person like he is that accumulates this stuff over time. As you all know, anytime you meet somebody online on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, anything like that, please, please, please make sure you meet them in a very busy place in the middle of the day where there's plenty of people around, because let's be honest, there's crazy people out there and you never know. So make sure you're very cautious. As long as you're cautious and you meet somebody in a public place in daytime, you're more than likely going to be okay. So let's go over what we got here. So I got a PlayStation 2 console from him. It had a power cord, but no AV cable or anything like that, which is fine because I have extras. But it also has this kind of, I don't even know what you would call this color, like a green blue. It's like a greenish blue color official Sony controller for the PlayStation 2, and it's in pretty good condition. I think I might actually keep this controller. I like the color of it, and I only have one controller for my PS2, so I actually do need another one. And this PS2 actually looks like it's in really good condition as well. Probably need to use an air hose to get the dust out of it, but it looks like it's in good condition. I have not tested it out yet, but if I had to guess, I would say that this one's going to work just fine, so I may keep this so that I have a backup PS2. Because it never hurts to have a backup of some of these older consoles. Got a random Nintendo 64 Rumble pack in that lot, so that was pretty cool. And by the way, anytime you get something like this that requires batteries, take the batteries out of it. Unless you're going to use it, take the batteries out of it, because you don't want those batteries to sit in there and possibly corrode. It's not the end of the world if that happens, but it can cause problems, so take the batteries out. We got a few Xbox games here. Serious Sam 2, which is such a fun game. Really hard, very over the top and crazy, but I really enjoy this game. I have a copy of this in my collection already, so this is a duplicate, so I will probably sell this one off, but that's cool. Then we've got Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. I was surprised to see that this game is worth more than I thought. I thought it was only going to be worth $5, but I think it was somewhere around 15 or $20, which really kind of shocked me for a Scooby-Doo game, so I don't know what's up with that. No interest in this game, so this is the kind of thing that I'm going to turn and try to, you know, sell to another collector. Then we have The Warriors, which I also have this game, and I've never played it. I really need to, because it's from Rockstar Games, and I have heard from a multitude of people that this is a really, really good game, so I'll probably check that out at some point. Then we've got a couple of random Sega stuff here. We've got a loose copy of Space Jam on the Sega Saturn. I don't collect for the Sega Saturn, at least not at this time. The games are insanely expensive for that system. Then we've got Complete Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. Really good game. It's a classic. I also already own this game, so this will be a duplicate that I will sell. And a demo disc for a Sega Dreamcast game called Demolition Racer. There are some collectors out there that collect demo discs. Maybe I can find a home for that. Moving on to the PlayStation 1. This is absolutely the best thing in this game lot. This is a mint copy, complete mint copy of Diablo on the PlayStation 1. This is an amazing find. I don't collect for the PlayStation 1 right now. I collect for the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 4 and the PSP. But I do not collect for the PlayStation 1, so I'm more than likely going to sell this and try to find a home for it. And something you all should know, PlayStation 1 collectors, the hardcore PlayStation 1 collectors, they go crazy over rare PlayStation 1 games that are in mint condition like this. A lot of those collectors will pay a lot of money for these. Now, me personally, I like, when I sell stuff, I like to price it below, well below retail and eBay value, because I want to give people a good deal. I don't want them to have to pay an arm and a leg like they have to pay sometimes on eBay or at a retail game store. So whoever I end up selling this to, they're going to get a good deal. They're going to be happy with it. Then we have Final Fantasy Chronicles and Chrono Trigger. So that's really, really, really cool. Chrono Trigger is an absolute classic. It's a masterpiece of a game. I played that a long time ago on the Super Nintendo, and I just loved every bit of it. Never played Final Fantasy IV, so might have to check that out. Then we have Ape Escape, another PlayStation classic I've never played. So maybe I'll pop that in and play it in the PS2 if it's backwards compatible. A loose copy of Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is a great series, really like that. Midway presents Arcade's Greatest Hits, the Midway Collection 2. It's got a lot of classic Midway games on it. I really like compilations like this that have a compilation of older games. That's really cool. The PlayStation version of Shadow Man, I believe I have the Nintendo 64 version of that game. Grand Theft Auto, the original Grand Theft Auto. Final Fantasy VII, of course, a lot of people love this game. It's one of the few Final Fantasy games that I actually played and beat. This and Final Fantasy III were in the first Final Fantasy game. Those are the ones that I beat. Such a good game. Then we have Final Fantasy Tactics. I've never played the PlayStation version, but I got highly, highly addicted to the Game Boy Advance version of Final Fantasy Tactics. So either way it goes, you can't go wrong with that game if you like strategy RPGs like that. Then we got Wipeout XL. I've also never really played the Wipeout series. I've always heard good things about that series. Front Mission 3, which I believe is a mech game, and it looks like this is a turn-based strategy RPG with mechs, so that's pretty cool. Then we've got Twisted Metal 4. I actually really like the Twisted Metal series, and I wish that it would make a comeback, because vehicular combat like that can be a lot of fun if it's done right. PlayStation Long Box game, World Cup Golf Professional Edition. There's a lot of collectors that really look for these long box versions of games, so if you ever see these for a good price, I would snatch them up. Moving on to PlayStation 2. Got some decent PS2 games in this lot. Pretty happy with it. We have Spawn Armageddon. Never played it, but it looks cool. Then we have the Mega Man X collection. Of course, you can't go wrong with that, having 7 Mega Man X games in one collection. I have the Switch version of this collection, so I'll probably never play this, because why would I play this when I can play it on the Switch? Then we have what looks like I don't know what this game is. It's called Falling Stars. If you know something about this game, let me know in the comments down below. Never seen this game before in my life, so there you go. We have a loose copy of Dawn of Mana for the PS2. Never played that. Something I definitely want to check out. And we have a copy with looks like a printed label for Marvel Superheroes on the PlayStation 2. Looks like a 2D fighting game. Oh, actually, this is on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. So Marvel Superheroes on the PlayStation, not the PlayStation 2. And it looks pretty cool. Crash Bandicoot Wrath of the Cortex. Classic. Not much to say about that. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've actually never played this. Onimusha Dawn of Dreams. Loose. Here we have Onimusha Warlords, and I think this game is being re-released on the Nintendo Switch this month in January. I might have to check that out. We'll see. And then we have a game that I did not know existed. Tim Burton's The Night Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. Now, this actually looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one yet. Let's move on to the GameCube games, and then we will wrap this video up. Alright, we got a lot of loose games here, which I don't mind finding loose games, because what I'll typically do is I will print a label for the games. If I decide to sell them or if I decide to keep them, I'll print off a color label that I can put in the box just so they look better on a shelf. So we have a loose copy of Beach Spikers, Future Tactics, Need for Speed Carbon, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, Sonic Mega Collection, Mario Power Tennis, which is pretty cool, DK Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, and Pac-Man World 2, which is actually a pretty decent 3D platformer. Highly recommend that one. Then we have True Crime Streets of LA. That's a cool game. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto-esque game. We have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Pretty much all the Need for Speed games are good. They're very quality arcade racing games. Die Hard Vendetta, this is not a good game. First-person shooter. I don't recommend it unless you want to have a laugh. Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. If you like Lego games, this is one of the first. This is one of the games that started the entire Lego franchise that we see today. It's a classic. It's a good game. I enjoy it. You know, it's easy, but all the Lego games are pretty easy. Then we have Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. I've never played that game. We have another copy of Black and Bruised. Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones. This is a good game. It's not my favorite in the Prince of Persia trilogy from that generation. Prince of Persia, The Warrior Within is probably my favorite, but this is still a really good game. Naruto Clash of Ninja 2. Don't really have a lot of experience with that game. And we have Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, which is an amazing game. If you're a Star Wars fan and you have the GameCube, you need to check this game out because it is a GameCube exclusive. Now, the three games that came in this lot that I did not have and I'm keeping is a complete in-box copy of Mario Superstar Baseball. It actually looks pretty fun, and rumor has it we might be getting a new Mario baseball game on the Switch. We'll see if that comes true or not. Super Monkey Ball 2, another GameCube exclusive, or at least at the time it was. I'm not sure if it still is, but this is a really, really, really fun game. Especially some of the party games that are included in this. You can really have a blast with this. Even today, this game still holds up. And One Piece Grand Battle. I am not familiar with the One Piece anime. If you are and it's good, let me know in the comments down below. I'm also not familiar with this game. It looks like a fighting game. Don't know what else to say about that. If you know something about this game and you think I should check it out, let me know. There you have it. These are my recent pickups. Once I accumulate enough to do another video, we'll do another one of these because I really like showing off some of the stuff that I found recently, whether it be from a flea market, a yard sale, you know, a pawn shop, friends, family, Craigslist, Instagram, eBay, whatever. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm very passionate about it. And you will see more videos about my collection in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, if one of my tips helped you out, please let me know in the comments down below. And also let me know some of the games that you've picked up recently. Tell me, you know, if there's a story behind it, if you got a good deal. Just tell me about your collection and what you found recently in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. It helps out a lot. And consider subscribing to see more content, more pickups. We got a lot of fun stuff planned, and I hope that you will come on this journey with us. With that being said, I'm out. Later.